Good afternoon, good evening, depending on where I may be catching you. Thank you for joining me on this Saturday afternoon, evening, if I'm catching you in the East. Just want to see if I'm coming through on Facebook here. It is our once a month crash course, and I usually get a few in attendance. So if you can just give me a minute to see you coming through on the other end. If you are joining me, and you have questions for the later portion of today's session, please make sure that you are on Lifepro's main public page on Facebook. That's the one feed. The comments will come through to me on this end. So make sure I'm about to share. And perfect. Okay. So if you are joining me, I see a few of you coming through now. If somebody could let me know if they see and hear me on the other end, I'll get started with my ramble tonight. So I want to line up a little better. You should see the pile of vibration plates I have behind camera today. Hello, Arlene. Thank you for joining me and making a comment. I'm assuming you can hear me and see me okay on the other end. And I see a few more of you jumping through here. This is great. So thank you for joining me tonight. It is the March crash course. Come June, we will have done this every Saturday, first Saturday of the month. One exception a couple months back where I was on Sunday. But I enjoy joining you. There's always new people starting to use vibration plates, and many of you might be returning to using your vibration plates. So whether you're just getting started, whether you are returning, my coaching style is a little different than what you may see outlined in your manual or in sessions online. I work with and cater to chronic users. So most of my members over the 20 years that I have been using vibration plates are coming from a place of medical use. They're 9 times out of 10 have contraindications. And what I want to teach you today is how to use your plate regardless of what level of health you may be starting at. I see a few comments today coming up. See and hear me perfect. Hello, Betsy. Hello, Arlene. Hello, Teresa. If you are joining me, please let me know where you are joining me from. Or tell me how you found the live. I'm always curious. I try to share. Facebook only allows me to invite so many people. And I do share this live throughout the groups that I have access to once I start. So I'm always curious where I'm finding you and the best way to get these notifications out to you. If you are a new user, the one thing I want to leave you with today is not overdo it. It's March. We are already 2 months into the new year, and I still see lots of you that are enthusiastic, which I love. But it's really easy to overuse a vibration plate, especially when you first get started out. A vibration plate is simply a tool that can be used as a therapy, perhaps managing some symptoms, perhaps you're recovering from something. It can also be fitness, and what you physically do or are able to do on the plate is going to vary for everyone. So as you are coming through, please let me know where you're coming from, how you found me, and I will get to questions towards the end of the short little demo I'm going to walk you through. So today I am featuring, again, the newest Lifepro compact model, the Vibrance X. I'm kind of liking this machine. It's got pretty good bite. Meaning the intensity is pretty strong. So if you're starting out, I recommend in general starting with your feet a little bit closer. We will be walking through oscillating movement. There's a lot of discussion on the internet: oscillating, lineal, combo, spiral, triplanar, 2D, 3D, 4D. What does it all mean? Plates move in different ways, and different movement types require different motors, different components. So typically, if you were to research back into the history of vibration plates, They are stemming primarily from the research in oscillating movement. Oscillating movement mimics that side to side, that natural gait of walking across the floor. Oscillating movement is adjustable in the intensity by you, the user. And what I mean by that, the scientific term is amplitude. Amplitude is how much the plate is moving you up and down each time. So if your feet are closer to the center, just like a teeter-totter, you're moving less. If your feet are wider, you're moving more. So I recommend, especially if you are starting from a place of anything chronic, you're deconditioned, you're fearful, start seated like I am today, and I'm sitting on a bar height stool, something that gets my legs at a good 90-degree angle. I have a nice swivelly adjustable height one behind camera, and if you need something for stability, that may be a good investment, something with a back that you can place in front of the plate to give you a little bit of reassurance to hang on to. Balance is one of the first things that will improve even within the course of your first session. So please do not buy a vibration plate solely based on the fact that it may or may not have handles attached to it. You get past that pretty quick, and there are better options. Handles sometimes restrict what you can do with a plate as far as once you do start progressing, you feel kind of boxed in. So oscillating movement is more widely available. 9 times out of 10, if you're looking at a machine online, and it doesn't say what it is as far as movements, or doesn't reference movements of any kind or features that way, it's typically oscillating. 9 out of 10 machines for sale are this foundational primary movement. Anyone telling you otherwise or bashing or saying anything negative in any way is trying to get your credit card more than speak from a factual scientific place. So I want our feet starting close. And unlike the other myth that many of you may have been told, if you watched me before, this is kind of repetitive, but instead of starting slow or low in the form of a speed it up a little bit. This plate has 100 different speeds. I'm in about the 25 to 30 range. I'm in a variable speed program, so it's changing the speed a little bit. But if your feet are closer to the center and you're not moving as much, you tend to tolerate a faster speed. And a faster speed is going to be a little bit smoother. It's going to feel more soothing than really slow, choppy, churny, rebounder kind of movement. So start with the feet closer, a little bit faster. And if you've been using a plate for a while, I recommend playing with those two variables. There's a little bit more to understand with oscillating movement. But once you understand, and you can even experiment, put one wider, one closer. You'll feel that there's a difference in energy, a difference in the amount of intensity, especially when you're standing. So if you're standing, primarily you want to make sure that you're in good balance. The posture's in line. We're not just slouching over. Nice straight spine. That tailbone is slightly tilted backwards, whether you're standing or seated. And just be conservative starting out with the foot placement. So assuming I just hit start. It's easy to overdo it on time. So if you are starting from a place of chronic issues, or if you're just new to a vibration plate, even though you might be super fit and go to the gym all the time, this is a new thing. Your body is being exposed to a new stimulus, if you will. More muscle fiber is being activated in a different way. So I'm always to a degree surprised when athletes reach out and they don't understand why they're sore the next day. I thought this was a recovery thing. That tells me you've probably taken on more as far as effort, form, position, or perhaps you did 3-4 different runs and you've just done more time. Sometimes when you work out regularly, you're used to more that 20-minute, half-hour mentality. A vibration plate accelerates what you do on it in comparison to the floor. It gets more done in less time. So I again warn you to be ultra conservative on your time and your intensity for at least the first week. Give your body a chance to get used to it before you progress and take on more. Symptoms versus fitness stuff. I know a lot of you would like to believe that there's just a button or a program or a setting, and a lot of the marketing has some truth to it, but we also got to take the body into account, what you're physically dealing with, what you may or may not be able to perform. Are you recovering? Should you be standing? Exercise parameters should be outlined by your doctor or your therapist. So if you are under any care right now, you got a care provider, you do need to adhere to your care provider's recommendations for activity. Does that mean that if you ask them if you can use a vibration plate, they're going to understand what that means? Seated like this is a non-weight-bearing way to just get some circulation and some lymph going. Very different than doing something perhaps that looks like the meanest squat you've done in 6 months and you're pushing for fatigue. So what you do on the plate drives the results to a degree. If you're looking for the big weight loss, the big muscle tone, the bone density stuff, you do need to do functional exercises, but just give yourself a week or two to get used to the settings, how it feels, what feels good to you, and more of what settings you use to complement your positions is much more a personal preference than anything the science or the chat GPT might be shooting at you. Very, very little has been there, even though there's hundreds, there's thousands of vibration plate studies. They haven't covered every frequency, every position, every body type, every medical condition. It's just an impossibility. This makes activity easier by reducing the amount of time that you have to spend exercising, thus reducing the amount of time and impact on joints. If you're dealing with inflammation, arthritis, swelling, anything that's slowing you down from being active regularly, all a vibration plate is a way to get moving, even if you can't move yourself. So it can be a way to manage symptoms, 2 to 3 minutes as needed for circulation. Maybe the low back's bugging you. You know, maybe you sit too much and those feet are killing you. The neuropathy's kicking in. But again, keep your sessions short. 1 to 2 minutes if you're just symptom managing. But use it 5-6 times a day if you need when you start out. Let the symptoms drive when you need a shake, but keep it brief. As again, I can't stress enough, it's very easy to overdo it. If fitness is the goal, I have a bad knee and a short attention span and very little free time. So I prefer 2 to 3 really solid weight-based exercises, things like squats. You know, maybe I'm doing some bicep curls. You'll notice that I'm not moving. I prefer, if I am moving, very slow, very controlled movements. You're really going to be able to target and tune more where you're feeling it. But with my awesome bad knee that I never did get repaired, I find static movement is kinder on my knee. And if I'm focusing on my technique, perhaps adding a weight vest, some weights, and I'm really being honest with myself and challenging myself, I'm boosting my metabolism. I'm increasing my strength. And the fatigue, if you are challenging yourself for your level of conditioning ability, you're going to fatigue within 30 seconds to a minute. And maybe do a couple 3 reps early in the day. It doesn't have to be a big workout. Something to experiment with. If you're not doing squats now, please don't think that you need to do a big 15, 20-minute move program to get awesome results. Get some basics. 2 foundational poses. Start seating, perhaps just standing. While we're standing, let's cover a few basics. My knees are not bent. My knees are bent. You can totally tell the difference, and you know when you're standing on it. But if you're looking at a picture and saying, well, her knees don't look bent, and you're using that to the letter, please use some common sense. Bend the knees. Let those shock absorbers absorb, those muscles absorb the movement. If it's much past the collarbone and the neck, not that it's a harmful thing, but we're new to this. We have a tendency to guard and protect and resist. And when we do that, we actually amplify it and make it worse as a feeling. So just relax, maybe warm up doing some slow, real purposeful breathing exercises. Be mindful of that core, the tailbone's in that neutral position. Maybe you are doing some slight weight shifts. I did this in a session yesterday for Lymphatic Awareness Day. It feels great on the hips. Maybe you're doing other things, and this is just a minute or 2 before you're going to the gym or going to work. If you do have low back issues, one of my favorite exercises to do, and I use it as a rest exercise between my squats that I do like to do in reps, is knees are slightly undone, and I'm just leaning forward at about a 45-degree angle. I'm almost in line with that white meat in the mirror. Nice straight spine. Maybe wiggle from side to side. I've already rambled 20 minutes. Look at that. And, you know, the more that you kind of wiggle around and play with your angles while you're on this, you're going to learn how to move or direct the resonance of the movement, the vibration you feel resonating throughout your body. You can direct where it goes just by experimenting. And I really want you to be, by the end of today's session, if you are a new user or you've had a poor experience and you're just starting out, I want you to be able to experiment with confidence. You are always in control. Feet closer, it's less scary. Wider, especially on these little plates. Okay, so these little plates are cute and they're affordable, but if the goal really is long-term that you're going to be working out on this thing for 15 to 20 minutes a day, look at least at the mini, the waver, maybe stepping up to the turbo hovert. The littler the machine, the lighter the machine, the less bells and whistles, the less it's going to be able to sustain your body and keep you in good position. If you're wobbling all over because the machine's so light and tippy because you're doing big squats with dumbbells, you want to make sure long term that the machine is going to suit where you plan to progress with it. These little machines are great for some basic standing exercises, some fitness, and part of the reason I like to teach the non-moving exercises, the static positions, is you'll find you're wobbling and feel more stable if you're doing them on these smaller machines. Because I know sometimes affordability is the driving factor. The last point that I want to give you is as far as tips for today is just some of the newbie stuff that you're going to experience when you first get started out. I've been rambling for about 20 minutes. And typically, if you're starting out, whether you're fit or not, I do recommend and stress again, 3 to 5 minutes, maybe a couple times a day, even shorter and more often if you are using it specifically to get some symptoms underway before you progress to other things. If you're dealing with lymphatic issues at all, it's on my brain because of lymphedema awareness yesterday. Make sure that the vessel, the body, has the capacity to accept all the increase in circulation and lymphatic fluid that you're presenting. So even though it might feel awesome while you're doing it, most people overdo it regardless of why you're using the plate. And overdoing it doesn't always mean muscle soreness. It could be swelling. It could be the joints are really sore. The muscles are really sore. Sore muscles and joints are usually a sign that you've used it for too long, but often in combination with more intensity than you're ready for. Wide, for those of you that have markers on your plates, in oscillating mode is known as the jogging position. If you're unable to jog, if your doctor has advised you to avoid high impact or strenuous activity, it's not the plate causing the problems, guys. It's how you personally are using them and disregarding absolutely everything you already know about your body. Don't hurt yourself by overdoing it. And when I say hurt yourself, the worst effects are going to be muscle soreness, fatigue. But if you're dealing with a chronic issue, a lot of times you forget what muscle soreness feels like and you think something's wrong because you're living with that symptomatic pain all the time. So less is more. You can always do more later on and give your body, like I say, a week or two just to get used to it before you pick things up a notch. Some users report headaches, dizziness, nausea. That's often related to standing too tall, too wide, where your body's literally like a pendulum and the swing is up here. Too long equates to that. But as I said earlier, if you're a new user, you're standing tall, we have a tendency to do that guard and protect thing. And it adds, you stop breathing, you're restricting blood flow. And it can also be related to detoxification. As we increase circulation and lymphatic movement throughout our system, its job is to detoxify. So it could be related to that. That leads into feeling ill, nauseous, almost like you're getting sick after using a vibration plate, be that one session or after a few. Some of this is a sign of just detoxification ramping up. Perhaps it's dehydration, nutrition linked. So make sure that you're giving your body the other complementary things it needs. The nutrient dense food, the rest, the recovery time. And, ladies that are exercising regularly, we do need a little bit more recovery time than our male counterparts. A common one I've had discussions about lately, with some of my new users is an increase in taking the number 1 and a number 2 bathroom break. As we increase your body's efficiency to move fluids throughout its body, to expedite waste, if it's a problem for you and you're constipated regularly or you're dealing with some incontinence issues, it's not uncommon to have a bit of a short-term cleanup or blowout, I'm going to be very frank, and have that improve over time. This is a good thing, but no, sometimes it's unexpected. You come in here looking for the weight loss, or you're working out and didn't expect that it was going to give you a colon cleanse to a degree. It's very, very common, especially with some of my younger users, my pediatric users that are dealing with mobility concerns, sitting in their wheelchairs longer than they should, sitting at school. Things get backed up just naturally due to inactivity. So that's a good thing, just something to be mindful of. And again, stress, keeping hydrated, and all the things you need to support your body doing that. Sometimes when you're a new user, you may notice an increase in swelling in new places. That can be a sign of blockages throughout your lymphatic system, but it is definitely a sign that you're maybe moving more fluid than the body is prepared to dissipate yet. And if I didn't talk about itchiness, That's like the biggest number 1 common new user thing. It isn't something everyone experiences. I've been asked that a couple times this week. It is more typically related to, let's say, 60 to 70%. A number of you do experience. The severity depends on what you're doing on the machine, how your circulatory system is. There's lots of reasons that people explain the itchiness. It could be that lymph, that circulation, detox ramping up. Sometimes you feel like it's still crawling, or pins and needles after the fact. If it is severe, severe, I'm talking you're breaking out in hives, you got red patches all over, the next day you're still, feeling the effects. Some people have a condition that they may or may not be aware of called MCAS, mast cell activation syndrome, and your body pre-releases histamines in response to an increase or sometimes a new activity. Well, guess what? It's a new activity. It's a new form of movement, but it accelerates that traditional stuff. So if you're going too long and you've had what you feel is a severe reaction, you've probably overdone it, but you may have more underlying conditions going on. Have that discussion with your doctor, or maybe you're aware and you have this condition and you just didn't put 2 and 2 together. You can use this with mast cell activation syndrome, but keep your starting sessions brief. 1 minute, 2 minutes if you can tolerate it. Breaking it into smaller, more digestible pieces, and keep that time intensity really short and conservative, and progress once you sort of feel tolerance building up. Outside of that, there's lots of different new user questions, and I want to get to some of those. For those of you that have been using these machines for a while, you may have different questions. I just ripped my notes. So I'm going to come a little bit closer to the camera, and I'm going to turn some of these blinding lights down. And I want to thank you for listening to my ramble. So who have I got here with me since I checked in? Okay. I said hello to, and if you are just joining me and you didn't hear my welcome in the beginning, please let me know where you are joining me from. And I'm curious today where you heard about today's session. Was it through Lifepro's VIP page? Was it through something I personally shared? These are on Lifepro's main public Facebook page. And after 30 days, they move over to YouTube. Facebook changed their policies in the fall, and lives are no longer retained within their records for more than 30 days. So you'll notice sometimes there's a little bit of a lag, but the lives always occur on Facebook, and then they are moved over onto YouTube. So myself, Roseanne, and Amber will post very commonly in the VIP group in particular our video libraries, links to some of our more recommended sessions. So look for those on welcome posts and just on a lot of the day-to-day posts that you see in that community. Okay, so I said hello to Arlene and Teresa and Betsy. Hello, Francis. Nice to see you. Sharon is here. Nerita, I hope I'm saying that great. What a great name. From Brooklyn, New York. Laura is here. Nice to see you from Florida, opposite end of the country. Teresa is here from Texas, Magnolia. I have lots of good friends in Texas. I got to get back there someday. Sharon, welcome. You're a new user. Dean is here. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining me. Debbie is here from Staten Island. Jane is here from Ohio. Hello, Barbara. She found me live. Thank you so much for showing us. Nice to see you, Barbara. Matthew is here from Fort Wayne. Suzanne is here. Nice to see you, Suzanne. And Frances is telling me she found me through Lifepro's Facebook page. Something else I think Facebook has changed on the main Lifepro page. It used to, as soon as I'd post an event, it would be like a post in the page, but it's not anymore. You got to go digging in the events. So we tend to share those a couple days prior to the live. If I save it too far in advance, sometimes it's not on the brain. So make sure that you're signing up for those notifications, be that interested or going. If you ping either one of those in the lives as we share them, you're going to get notifications if I'm running late or I've changed the time or things that are coming up. So what have we got here for questions? Arlene says, you messaged me. Thank you for reaching out. That's awesome, Arlene. Thank you for responding and being here today. I drop my hints wherever I can. Stacy Sibley, Iowa, she found us in the Lifepro VIP group. And not everybody is on Facebook. So if you do have anyone that is needing support or has particular questions, never hesitate to reach out to us on Lifepro's main YouTube channel. But as it's not my channel, it's Lifepro's channel. Sometimes I go in there and I monitor comments, and sometimes I get busy with my own stuff and I don't. And I think you can tag me personally, but know that it's a comment on Lifepro's page. So please never hesitate to reach out through a message here or through YouTube. Here you can tag me on Facebook at Debby with a Y. If you tag me, then I for sure get a notification. If you just make a comment and we get into a flurry of discussions here, sometimes I don't get the comment. So many of you are joining me, I think, after the original live got going here. If you do have questions and you're typing away and I'm not seeing them, make sure that you are on the main Lifepro public Facebook page. The feed there is where the comments will come through to me on this end. I'm going to give you guys a couple more minutes to leave some comments. I haven't done in a while specific to upper body. I'm always looking for session ideas. I do have a couple of planned. I did my own for World Lymphedema Day yesterday. So that's on my YouTube channel. But I also have been, I think it's because it's tank top season and we're getting into summer. So I'm going to plan some upper body specific workouts this month, utilizing your vibration plate, of course. And if you're dealing with chronic issues, which many of us are, how do you work the upper body if you've got frozen shoulder or you've got bad knees to get down on the ground? We'll get into, as I always do, a variety of ways that you can use your plate to enhance what you're doing, be that seated or whether you can get down on the ground and get more direct with your upper body positions themselves. Well, I thank everybody who's joined me. You're all smart and you've all listened, or I've talked you all to sleep perhaps. So I want to thank you for joining me tonight. There are some good plate deals on Lifepro's site direct. The Vibrance X is only available on Lifepro's main site. Why does Debbie like the Vibrance X? It's simple. It's basic. I'm not a big bells and whistles, even though I started 20 years ago in a completely different style of vibration, which was vertical. I do enjoy, but those machines from research are pretty aggressive. They're pretty costly. And over the years, oscillation has by far, for me as a coach, become my preferred and recommend movement style. Lifepro has a lot of choice in just lots of different features, combo movements between their styles. But the vast majority of them, with the exception of the voice activated models, all offer oscillating movements. So regardless of whether you've got a little itty bitty compact machine or you've got the big bad one of the Rumblex series, my coaching is universal regardless of what plate you're using. Sometimes you switch models. I don't want you guys thinking that speeds or levels or programs is the language. The language is whatever feels comfortable for you. And once you kind of understand playing with those speeds in relationship with the feet or the hand position completely puts you back in control, you'll feel a lot more confident to experiment. And that's going to be an important lesson when we get into some upper body stuff, learning how to control that intensity so I can get my arms back into what they should be for the coming season. So thank you so much for joining me tonight, guys. I wish you a great rest of the weekend. And I look forward to seeing you probably towards the end of next week for my next session. Have a great night and don't work too hard. Keep shaking.